provolone subs are priced to delight for limited time. Small subs are just $6. Medium subs are $8, and large subs are only $10. Yum! Slice fresh ham, salami, and provolone on your favorite bread with your choice of toppings. Now that's a deal worth biting into. Head to your neighborhood Porter Subs or order at portersub.com or via one app for convenient ordering and freshness at your fingertips.
Okay, at some point during the monologue, he's going to throw it up.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius.
By the way, it's a short opening
Yeah.
first hour.
That's genius. To some new genius who's got a genius.
I'm making new ones this afternoon. I already got all my shit.
Genius.
Cool.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need it.
Indeed, you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find
Yep, all hands on deck.
to hire them.
Yes.
Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a game where this many guys are hurt. I really mean that. In all my years, I don't recall a game where there were this many players hurt, including the stars. So you could either bitch and moan about it or step up and embrace the opportunity.
Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger for the ones who get it done.
Sign up today for a new William Hill Nevada mobile sports account, and you can earn a $50 bonus bet on top of your original $50 or more deposit and wager. The William Hill Nevada mobile sports app allows you to bet on the go from any iPhone, iPad, or Android device from anywhere in Nevada. Sign up today, and you will never miss another bet. The largest wagering venue, the mobile sports app features live and play wagering on all major sports. For more information, official rules, and to see participating sign-up locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem.
Only thing, I'm on baby bringing me some food later. I'm here till midnight. I got the golden ice now.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's hockey season.
Yeah, that's a long night.
Hope you bet your ass.
That's a long night.
And I got the Raiders on Sunday. And I got 3 doubles next week.
Don't be a complete asshole and say Devontae's not hurt. Don't do that. So just don't even go there today, or I'll blast you off this page real quickly. You know what I mean? I'm not in the mood for that today. Fans quitting, fans bitching, fans whining. I'm about done with that. Let's have a good time.
The Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes up off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Over to the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Yes, I am here on Friday, and you are with me. Welcome into the flagship of the Silver and Black Raider Nation Radio, 920 in Vegas, on the Raiders mobile app and on our YouTube page, where we are vibrant and going over 5,000 subscribers today. Please subscribe and jump in, watch the show, see what we're doing here. It's the best way to do it now, other than listening on the radio, because most people don't listen on the radio much anymore. Luckily, we have a vibrant stream and a big stream, and I listen to radio every day, but YouTube is where we're going. At least I'm going. JT the Brick YT. It's free. You subscribe, you see me, and you can see and talk to us during the breaks and get in our chat as we get rolling today. So we just got devastating news 20 minutes ago that Davante Adams and Max Crosby will not play Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. So that changes everything for the show today. On Friday, I like to keep it a little bit loose, talk about the weekend, the parties, this and that, little entertainment, replay some interviews I like to do, Rich Gannon, the coach, all of that now. We might play Gannon because Gannon talked a lot about what the team needs to do, but everything changed for us in the last 20 minutes. We found out that Max can't go with an ankle. Devontae's got a hamstring. Thayer Mumford is out. Oh, nothing. He's the starting right tackle, one of the most important positions. Divine Diablo is out. Michael Mayer is out for personal reasons. You'll hear the coach. It's none of our business. It's personal reasons. He's out. He's not able to play. Dikembe Richardson has a hamstring. So what's changed in the last half hour, and I got word of this morning. I found out this morning, and I was not going to go to Twitter or X before the coach met the media. So when I found out first that Max wasn't going and Devontae, I was like, oh boy, that's not good. But then I know, because I've been talking all week, that Cleveland is injured as much. Now, Cleveland was injured clearly more than the Raiders until Antonio Pierce told us that the stars are out and a lot of the big names are out for the Raiders. Now the Raiders, as far as I can tell from doing my homework, have more significant injuries than the Browns, and the Browns have a lot of significant injuries. So we can go one of two ways with this. As I already warned our friends on YouTube, I'm not the guy to bring your negativity crap to today. I'm not the guy. You don't want to go there with me. I'm not a quitter. I don't throw in the towel. I don't whine. I don't complain. And I've been dealing with some of those dudes, if you know what I'm saying. A bunch of quitters, a bunch of people bailing, and it's really gross. Actually, it is. It's really terrible. Everybody has a right to an opinion. Come on, I'm in the opinion business. I actually like your opinions, but I'm not into this. We suck. We have no chance. There's plenty of podcasts that'll do that. There's plenty of people that you can have a misery lunch at a bar with and tell you how bad your life is because the Raiders have injuries. This is not the show for that. But if the injuries mount and some go on IR and players are not here because they can't play and the Raiders can't dig out of this, it's going to pretty much dominate my show going forward. So I choose today to be not a breath of fresh air, because I'm never a breath of fresh air. Believe me, the last thing people say about me is I'm a breath of fresh air. But what I'm going to tell you today is that this is why you come to me on a day, because I'm going to put together what I think is a formula on how they can win the game. Now, if Cleveland was at absolute full strength, if they had their original offensive line and Njoku, the tight end, if they didn't have the injuries that they've had, then I'd be sitting here saying, it's not looking good, but the Raiders are going to need this, that, and you probably listen and go, oh, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? And, it's amazing that people think, because I want the Raiders to win and I work for the team, that this is some type of spin. A spin? I've never decided the outcome of a game. All right? I've never sat in a coach's meeting. I don't lift weights with the players. Give me a break. I'm trying to see if the team can win games, and if they don't, I'm the first guy on the air after they lose, and I think that puts me on a platform bigger than anyone in Raider history in the media, because I'm on the front line after the game, and a lot of people aren't. And it comes right at me like a tsunami moments after the game. And I'm hoping that the Raiders win this game, because I think the Raiders have enough to put together a game plan and win this game because of Cleveland's injuries. We all know the Raider injuries, and they're devastating. And they're massive and they're big, especially when your captains can't come out and take the field. Marcus Epps is gone for the year. Do we forget about that? No, we didn't forget about him. Malcolm Kuntz is gone. If you would have told me in Costa Mesa that week 4 against Cleveland, there'd be no Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Marcus Epps, Devontae Adams, Divine Diablo, and Michael Mayer, 6 starters, if you told me that, I'd be like, whoa, what happened? Like, what went wrong? So I'm looking at it just like you. I'm almost in shock that this many players are hurt, but this is the league. The league is injured. The league is upside down. This is the ultimate next man up scenario in sports and in life. Life is much more important than sports. Okay, so in your world, in your life, not your job, maybe you have to step up. And you have to step up in a big way because it's a life-threatening situation or it's something big. And you were chosen to step up. It's your turn. You would all step up. You would all do it. You wouldn't run from it. You wouldn't hide. You wouldn't dive in the bottle and go under the pillow and say, I can't do it. You would step up. That's life. That's much more important than sports. So today I want to remind everybody that we're dealing with sports, entertainment. Okay, every Raider fan wants to win more than any fan base I've ever seen. And you know that this is going to be a tough one. So let's talk about how the Raiders win this game. Who do the Raiders have that can help win this game? Jacoby Myers goes to the 1 from the 2. Trey Tucker goes from the 3 to the 2. DJ Turner comes in, who's a good player. and he can make some plays on the outside. He's a speed guy, and they have Brock Bowers. Remember everybody freaking out at the draft? Why'd we take a tight end? Oh, really? Oh, really? How about for this situation? Why did we take a tight end? How about now? You have arguably the best tight end to ever play college football ready to go. He can dominate a game with Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker. You got 3 guys in every route, and 4, but you got Jacoby, Bowers, and Trey Tucker running routes. And you have Zamir White. Ooh, I'm not going to forget about him. Now, the running game, because Devontae's out and Michael Mayer's out, is going to have to really play well in this game. And they've been a no-show. They've been dead on arrival. No one even knows them. They don't even talk about them, mention them on ESPN Fox. They have got to play with pride. They have to play with aggression, and they got to run the ball. Because my philosophy changed from Wednesday to Friday on the game plan and how they're going to have this game plan here. I was all into 4 wide. We can't go 4 wide. We don't have Devontae. We don't have Devontae. Okay, so the offense, fortunately, has still a lot of playmakers. Guys that can catch the ball, guys that can play well. Now, I want to get to Gardner Minshew. Deshaun Watson this week in front of the Browns media said that he doesn't run. Everyone said, what? What do you mean you don't run? And he was arrogant, and he said to the media, I'm a quarterback, not a running back. Well, Gardner Minshew now has to become a running back. That's the focus of my monologue, brought to you by Golden Entertainment. They own the Strat. Tonight I will be the MC for a short period of time to kick off their ALS Food is Art event as we try to raise money for ALS and all the people who are suffering through that terrible disease. So I'll be at the pool at the Strat at 7 o'clock before I go to the Bolitnikoff Crab Fest, which is like Raider Prom tonight, which a lot of Raider people are going to be together, which is good because the Modelo's better be flowing. And the Tito's are going to be flowing, and we got to get our game face on. Okay, so Minshew now has to take over the game, and he has to go win the game. Are we good with that? Okay, I got to get this into my – are we good with this? This is all I got. Minshew now has to become a missile running the football. I'm not talking about a pocket breaks down. Oh, my God, Myles Garrett, he falls forward for 2 yards. No. I need about 45 to 50 yards out of Minshew. I need an 18-yard run. I need a 14-yard run. I need an 8. That's when I got to get that, or I don't think the Raiders will have a good chance to win. Minshew has got to become a detailed, focused runner, along with being a mobile quarterback and a pocket passer. So I don't know what the player prop is. I don't even think they have him, but I would take the Gardner Minshew over on yards, because if he isn't running, I mean seriously running when the pocket breaks down and takes off, Raiders are going to be in a tough position. Number 2, now defensively, there's no Max Crosby. Max Crosby is the absolute leader of this franchise. You hear what I said? Offense, defense. He's the leader. Max will be on the sidelines, not able to perform because he's injured. He will have the team fired up. Max will be standing next to the coach. His body language will be electric. He will have the crowd going. He will have everybody there, I can promise you. When it comes to this offensive line, they need to have a come to Jesus moment, as we say. They have to look in the mirror and come out of there and say, we don't have Devontae and Max. Everybody's looking at us like we are underachieving, which is true. We have not stepped up to do our job to the level we can, and the offensive line is going to have a big day. Now, with all the players who aren't on Cleveland's offensive line, they're missing 3, 2 starters and a backup. So they got a 3rd stringer in, and they got backups. That's a big deal for the Raiders. But the Raiders don't have Divine Diablo. So earlier in the week, I called on Nate Hobbs and Jack Jones to have big games. They might have to tackle behind the line of scrimmage, and they might have to get a sack. We're definitely going to need a sack in this game from a corner or safety. Trayvon Merrick and Isaiah Palamal have got to have big games because they're going up against Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy. And with Marcus Epps out and no Malcolm Kuntz and no Max Crosby, Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy are licking their chops saying, get me the ball. Did you see the way the Raiders didn't tackle against Carolina? If Amari Cooper runs an in route on a slant and gets it, he's gone. Same thing with Jerry Jeudy. So the tackling is going to be at a premium here. When you think of Amari Gaynor and I think of Luke Masterson, I go back to one of the greatest fans in Raider history, Raider Mort, who says, look, we got a bunch of guys. They're just a bunch of guys. Well, if you can't elevate your game in this game, you don't belong with the Raiders long term. Because Tom Telesco's got to build, and this isn't a rebuild at all. They got Devontae Adams, Max Crosby. They got guys who are great, who are future Hall of Famers. There's no rebuild. Raiders want to get to 2-2. And Tom Telesco in the offseason, he'll figure out how to bring more players in. Tom's got to bring in some players now, obviously. But the issue becomes, if you can't come off the practice squad, if you can't come off the bench and elevate your game, you don't need to be here anymore. I just said it. And I'm not a player, and I rarely go there. If you get put in this situation in this game, and you're asked to perform because you're substituting for Max Crosby and Divine Diablo and Marcus Epps, and you can't prove that you can play, you're on your way out. Maybe not this week, but eventually we got to get better players than those guys. So I need elevation. We need people to elevate. We need players to step up and play, as I tweeted out before I knew Devontae and Max were out. I put out a tweet saying everybody has to have a career game. Little did I know right after that, as it was flying to the Twitterverse, my tweets, God, if I could take back half my tweets, I'd take back 3/4 of them. And basically, it's time to play. It is. What's the purpose of having a practice squad? What's the purpose of making the 53-man roster and not starting, and you get called to start and you can't do it? You got to do it. And I think the Raiders are going to do it. I really do. I think the Raiders will step up and do this. So we got Chris Matthews, the Dean of the Newsmen, at the bottom of the hour. And then I don't have much after that other than me going off for 2 hours before my bucket of Modelo's is dripping wet at home on ice. I'm getting in the pool. I'm enjoying the hell out of this weekend. Got a great bunch of friends in town, Raider fans coming in. I am not going to be the leader of the misery index. I am not going to get under my covers and shut the door and tell my wife to wake me up an hour before the Biletnikoff event tonight and go in as a mope. I'm no mope. I ain't going in there. I'm going in as a leader. Gonna hang out with the Plunketts tonight. Gonna see some legends. Morris Bradshaw's in town. Friends of mine. We're not gonna sit around and quiet. Oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God. Oh, none of that. I'm hanging out with the greatest legends in Raider history tonight. They won most of their games. They had like a 75% winning percentage. You think they cared about week 4? Oh, we got a couple of guys injured. Give me a break. Got an opportunity to elevate this team and do your job as a fan. At least pretend that you think they can win the game, and then we'll deal with it Sunday night into Monday. But this is a winnable game. This is a winnable game. The Raiders just got a lot of bad news moments ago. How are you going to handle it? Okay, and for those, you don't get it. No, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be with the miserable people who think on a Friday at 12:15 the game's over by 4 o'clock on Sunday. You're not in my life. You're not around me. I don't hang out with you. I do a radio show, and I try to generate positivity until there's no more positivity. And then I talk about LeBron, and I talk about, the Bills.
Yankees.
And the Yankees, my Yankees. Oh, God bless my Yankees, the 1 seed. So I'm going to do my part today. Let's hear from you at 702-365-9200. Let's get some fans who think the team can win. Let's get those people on the flagship of the radio station flagship of the actual team. Okay, because the flagship of the Browns and the Broncos and the Chargers make fun of you, mock you. They think you're losers. I think you're winners. You put me in this seat. You gave me this incredible life. You give me the opportunity to do what I do for a living. So I choose to not say the Raiders are going to win 41-10. I don't choose to do that today, but I choose to say that I think the Raiders with their players can go back and forth and beat the Browns. And that's it. We have got to find a way to play pissed off angry, and violent. If you're a substitute and you're coming in the game, you have to play pissed off, angry, and violent. You have to perform at the highest level as a professional football player who plays in the NFL. Other guys on the other team shouldn't be that much better than you. Do you get it? Their backup offensive linemen shouldn't be better than our starting offensive linemen. Okay? Their wide receivers shouldn't be better than Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, and Brock Bowers. They shouldn't be. Their team doesn't have a kicker and a punter who might win this game. A.J. Cole is a captain on this team. I hope he hears this. A.J. Cole better go win this game. I need a caution's corner. I need some plays. I need something to go down. So I need something big to happen. Okay? So everybody get ready. I'm going to play a portion of Antonio Pierce right now, which I was able to see and hear as I was driving into the studio, and we saw the news. This is what the coach of the Raiders said moments ago.
Curious, and what you learned about your team this week, watching them respond to last Sunday.
Character. That's what we talked about this week. You know, the true character comes out through adversity, through hardship, and humble. You know, I think we all understand, you know, you always give your best. Not that we didn't, but it's always, it's going to be at the forefront. And when there's anything that's lacking details or lacking something, they get exposed. I think it was good, you know, obviously a good wake-up call. Don't want to have a wake-up call, but it was. And it's how you respond. So character is a big word for us this week.
All points of your life, you've been known as a leader. This is your leadership skills, you know, right here. I'm not saying it's under the test or anything like that, but
I'll tell you one more
that's leadership is a big part of this.
Yes.
How do you feel you're responding to it and getting this team, help navigating this team through these problems?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all going through it. I mean, it's my first time going through that situation as a head coach, right? Kind of disappointing, but you know, like everything else, we talk about 24-hour rule for the players. Got to be 24-hour rule for the coach, and then there's a new opponent, right? There's a new objective this week, and it's the Cleveland Browns at home. Another great opportunity for us. And when I say words to players, when I talk about character, for example, I'm talking to myself as well. And then how do I handle adversity? How do I handle these situations that you know you didn't quite see? So you go back, you know, you reflect, you get it, you move on, and you set it forward. And every week is not the same week. There's always different things and different obstacles that you got to go through. So. That's really a big part of it. Like you said, my leadership, getting these guys going, get them ready to play, and make sure we put out a good product on the field.
What's the expectation for Max Crosby to play on Sunday?
He'll be out. Out. Out.
Going back to that, this is no disrespect to Cleveland, and I don't mean it that way, but is this game more to you about the Raiders than the Browns?
Be honest, every game. I said that last week against Carolina. I didn't mean that disrespectful when I say that. It's always about us, right? We always got to worry about ourselves. We don't worry about who's not playing for the other team, what issues they're going through. We have our own, as I just announced right now. It's about us getting better and getting the best 11 out there and getting the best team ready, prepared to execute in situational football, end of half, in the game, and to play a full game with the effort and the passion that we displayed.
You just mentioned, two of your best players are not going to be in this game, Michael Mayer, tight end. Opportunity for some younger players, other players to step up.
And we're excited about it. I mean, great opportunity. Harrison Bryant, right? Shaker, Brock Bowers. Feel good about those three. And then, talk about Devontae, but, you got Jacoby Myers, who we really feel good about, and obviously, in most teams, he'll be their number one, and it's a great opportunity for him to go and show that as well. But collectively, nobody needs to be Devontae Adams. I don't need another Devontae. There's only one, right? I just need the best version of Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, T.J. Turner, and the rest of those receivers.
Sense on Devontae in terms of what happened with the hamstring, about how long that might be?
No, I don't know. I just know he's out for this week, but he's kind of like Max. You got to get those guys week to week. You can never really day to day. You never know how they respond. They've been doing this a long time in their career, but I just know for this week he'll be out.
Yesterday practice?
Yes.
Got a couple other guys that had practice a week that finally got loaned there. I'm not sure they also.
They'll be out.
Coach, what are some of the biggest differences between motivating a group of guys as a player versus as a head coach that you've noticed?
Everybody's different. I mean, I don't talk to the quarterbacks like I talk to linebackers, right? But the message to the team is that of team, and what what our thought process is. Again, the mindset this week is character. Being a pro, having another opportunity at home, we really want to take advantage of that. I believe the crowd will come through. I know they were disappointed just like we were, but we expect them to come through strong and be loud and Raider Nation to show up. But as a player, you probably get more into the face, like right here, eye to eye. And as a team, you got to look at the big picture, and you can't overreact. And I don't think I really do that. I'm more straightforward and direct. They understand that, and then we just move on. It's nothing personal. It's strictly nothing personal. And they do the same thing to me, right? They call me out if AP, you ain't the same today. What's wrong with you? So that's a good part about it. I think just the lines of communication, having those open throughout the week, especially in times like this when we're getting poked at from the outsiders trying to, put us against one another, and that's not going to happen.
There's that cliche, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But what goes into actually pulling it off for some of these guys that, you had a couple injuries the last couple of days and maybe weren't expecting to start at the beginning of the week that might have to step up now?
I think, obviously the Devontae one, that just happened. That's more recent. But, you do have a lot of reps in practice where you give a player a rep or two that made that Devontae doesn't need to be in on that series, correct, or on that play in particular. So I think that's a big thing. I think Edgar Bennett and a lot of our coaches do a good job of keeping the players next to him. You hear this word, especially in training camp, but those mental reps. We do a lot of things developmental throughout the practice to give guys opportunities. Our scout team is not a look team. We actually compete, and we try to mirror as best we can to what the defense or the offense wants us to give, but staying within our technique and scheme. So there's a lot of teaching that goes on throughout. A big part of our early morning portions in the morning is getting our developmental group of guys that are not active or on the practice squad opportunities to get with the coaches and get more coached up, right? So we do a good job of that. So we'll see what happens on come Sunday, but we really feel, giving these guys the last 12 hours and now, today and tomorrow to get ready for the game.
All right, so that's a portion of his press conference. You got the big part of it. Devontae Adams will not play. Michael Mayer, Max Crosby, Divine Diablo. There's a bunch of starters are out. Malcolm Kuntz gone for the year with Marcus Epps. I don't recall a time ever in my career, 27 years sitting behind a microphone, where this many starters were out by week 4. I don't. So we'll see. We'll see how they're able to get through this. There are good players. He said something pretty important there at the end, that these aren't guys that on the practice squad that look. They actually participate, and they're ready to go. So when we see what's happening now, I think a lot of the energy of the fans should be not blanking and moaning about the offensive coordinator, not complaining about last week's game. It's to try to find a way to get to 2-2. If the Raiders are able to pull this game out and they get to 2-2, it's going to be special, considering what this injury report looks like. I think they can get there. And I've been assuming all week. I didn't know Devontae would be out. I sensed Max was not going to be able to go. But now with Devontae out and Michael Mayer, something happening personally, I don't know what the situation is. This team has got to prove the brotherhood. And the entire locker room has to have a moment. And it has to happen now. This season is not on the brink. Some fans think it is. But this season is at an early crossroads. A very early crossroads. To get to 2-2 and be right in the middle of the pack with everybody who's just as injured, hurt, leagues upside down, or to go to 1-3, where a lot of teams will be 1-3, and it won't be looking good for a wild card or a playoff berth. That's what's at stake in this game. They know it. I just said it. You know it. So let's see what we can get out of this today. 702-365-9200. Jump on in. 702-365-9200. Chris Matthews will join us coming up. Hey, man, we need the fighting spirit of Modelo, don't we? The number one beer in America. Modelo and the Black Hole. They're going to have a big weekend again. Go to theblackhole.com to see all their events. I think Raider Nation needs to come together, get some positivity going, and find a way to beat the dog pound in the Cleveland Browns.
You can stay in touch with your favorite stations.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Yep.
Minshew coming back.
Who's it? Minshew? Okay.
Okay, so
You actually think Mayer is quitting the team? You don't know what's going on in his personal life? Surfer Bob, you want to get blown out of here by talking about a guy's personal problem that could be happening, that could be anything family related, and you're going to mock a guy? Let's get him out of here today. I don't need his bullshit. Let's get him out of here. Put this idiot in timeout.
call my buddy Chris now. He put that number and say, hey Chris, we're putting on with JT. Hang on.
Well, Surfer Bob's been in timeout like a little baby. That's what I love about YouTube. We can put the little baby toddlers in timeout. You know, on Twitter, I just block them. I blocked the jack off today. I just told him, I give him a warning. I said, I'm going to block you if you say something else. You know, another guy who claims he's going to find me in the parking lot. 27 years, there hasn't been one person to ever find me in the parking lot. I have the biggest ability to see everybody in the parking lot. Yeah, baller, timeout. We put all the trolls in timeout.
Oh, baby, I'll give you the address and phone number.
Yeah, we'll give you our address and phone number. Give you our address and phone number. Everybody's a tough guy until they have to come out of the cave. All right, so we got to have a win, man. We got to get a win, man. Wow.
If you're experiencing a season of sports betting couch slouch, it's time to get off your app and get in the game. Rampart Casino is the place to be on game day. Team up with friends for game time food and drink specials, contests, giveaways, and more. Plus, we have some of the best odds.
You got anybody on hold or no?
Yeah, we have Nick from Las Vegas and Mark from the Bay Area.
Okay, good. We'll get to them after our guest. Man, Devontae and Max not being there. Woo! That hurts, man.
Well, I just refreshed them. They're not there.
Okay.
We make the process easy by assigning you a project manager that oversees your work from start to finish. We can do everything. Excavation of plaster in just 10 weeks. Call Desert Springs Pools today, and we'll get started on your
But I have Chris's number.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom. Sweet ride. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah. Let me come over and give it to you.
Hey, Sparcy. Did Tom get a raise? Did he win the lottery? I just got a sweet loan from One Nevada Credit Union. Smart move, Tom. Thanks. Great terms. Low rates and easy approval process. All I needed to do was find a sweet ride. Get a sweet loan for a sweet ride at onenevada.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Tequila Comisario was developed in the relentless pursuit of perfection with a deep dash of agave. It's the most awarded tequila. You'll immediately notice its beautiful packaging, and after just one sip, you'll experience how smooth it is. It's the Ferrari of tequila, the single highest quality. 100% handcrafted Comisario tequilas. A proud partner of the JT The Freak Show.
Welcome back to the JT The Freak Show. Brought to you by JT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
I think that's a combination of a lot of things, you know. They had some good calls on our third downs this week where our primary was covered and, had to move on and didn't execute it well enough there. So hats off to them. And then, we just got to, make plays, keep us on the field. We got to make these plays come alive, make them work, and that starts with me. I got to do a better job of keeping us on the field.
Yeah, I think this is a big Gardner Minshew game. It's going to have to be a massive Gardner Minshew game, which we've seen a fourth quarter in Baltimore. That's about it. So there's a lot of pressure on Gardner. He deserves that pressure. He beat out Aiden O'Connell. That isn't a lifetime job. If he doesn't play well against the Browns, I don't think he'll be starting anymore. That's the way I see it. So, yeah, is that a heavy load for Gardner? Yeah, he's getting paid a lot of money. He's got to go beat the Browns. Chris Matthews joins us, the Dean of the Newsmen. Chris, I might need some therapy from you to get me to 2 o'clock with all these Raider injuries. What happened today at that press conference?
Boy, I'll tell you what, it's crazy when they ask Antonio Pierce, hey, how's the situation with Crosby? He's out. How's the situation with Devontae Adams? He's out. How about the personal thing with Michael Mayer? He's out. It's like, whoa, that's a big blow. I mean, but you know what I loved about Antonio Pierce? He came right back and said, like the Tyree Wilson, these guys will have to fill in. Don't try to be a Superman. Don't put a cape on. Go out there and be who you are, and don't be a hero. Just do your job. And I really like that from what Antonio Pierce said, because you know what? Yeah, just go do your job. If these players would have just done their job last week, they might have had a different outcome with that game. But it's going to be really, really interesting to see who just does their job on Sunday against the Browns, because they're, like you do. I just heard you talking about Minshew. It's not like Watson's lighting the world on fire either. So there's an opportunity for the Raiders in a big, important game coming up on Sunday.
Chris, you nailed it. This Cleveland team is also decimated. Their injury report was longer than the Raiders until today, when we found out that Michael Mayer and especially Devontae Adams won't be able to go. Divine Diablo, and as you know, there's no Malcolm Kuntz, and Marcus Epps is gone for the year. So the Raiders, their depth is being challenged very early in the season. That's why you have a practice squad and backups that have to play great in this game, because it feels more of a must-win game than any I've seen in a while in a week 4.
Yeah, when you take out a Max Crosby, I mean, we all know he's one of the best players, if not probably the best player on defense in the league right now. Before he goes out, he was just having a terrific year before he was hurt last week, so you just throw that one out. But against the Ravens, he was absolutely dominating. He got the sacks, the tackles, the loss for tackles. I mean, the guy was just unbelievable in there. So you take him out. Then you got Tyree Wilson who have to step up. I'm really impressed with, though, JT, and he's like an old school guy. You talk about Antonio Pierce and what he likes about the whole Raider image is a guy like Robert Spillane. Yeah. The guy just continues to work hard, puts up numbers, 11 tackles last week. He's just one of 4 guys in the entire NFL through the first 3 weeks that's averaged 10 or more tackles per game. So this guy, he'll step up and he'll be a factor. But you mentioned those other guys; they got to really step up and like Coach said, just do your job. Go out there, set the edge, do that. Dropping back, do that. Inside stunts, do that. Just do your job. And he says, if enough people do that, we'll be okay.
Chris Matthews joins us from 8 News Now, and Chris, one more on the Raiders and their ability to play big. They haven't had a running game at all. And eventually they're going to get the running game going. Eventually, every NFL team finally figures it out. But this is, being dead last is one thing. Maybe this is the game now where Zamir White has that moment where he can carry the team 110, 120 yards. Doesn't look like it the way the offensive line played, but they're really going to need Madison and his experience and the young Zamir White to have a big game. And I'm not talking about ball control. I'm talking about significant yards on the ground.
Yeah, they got to do something. It's almost eye-popping when you look at the numbers through 3 games. They have 153 total yards. That's total yards. 55 attempts. That's a league low. In fact, I was looking. The longest rushing yard from scrimmage for the Raiders is 12 yards. That's the longest run they've had. Dallas has got to feel bad because they're tied with the Raiders, but that is unbelievable. They're averaging nearly almost 3 yards a carry, 2.8, I think it was. But I was looking at those numbers. I'm thinking, wow, it's kind of even worse than I thought it was. So they got to get something going, whether it's Zamir White or Madison or somebody out there. They got to open up some holes to get this running game going. That offensive line's got at least work a little harder, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got to work a lot harder. Chris, as we wrap it up, I wanted to see your coverage because I watched it, and as many people in this town, and you're an authority to a lot of people to come to breaking news. This UNLV story, I reached out to a lot of big-time boosters and former players here. This is bizarre. It's like he said, she said. Was he offered $100,000 or not? You got to pay your quarterback something. I mean, you can't have a program. You can't have a D1 quarterback in a program that wants to win without paying a quarterback during NIL. That's just fact, not fiction. But then again, maybe the quarterback heard something differently because this head coach, Barry Odom, is a man of character and held in high regard, and he wouldn't offer something and take it back. So what are you sensing happened here?
That's how I really have a hard time believing that a coach made a $100,000 commitment right to his face. I mean, there could have been some, hey, we'll get you some money. Well, whatever kind of conversations there were with the the assistant coach, the offensive coordinator, apparently is what we're hearing, that he made this 100,000. I have a real hard time that a guy coming from Holy Cross was offered $100,000 straight up to come out here and play on the NIL deal. Like you said, Barry Odom is one of the most high-class guys you'll ever meet. Everything would have gone through him. Nothing went through him. There was no contract signed. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation if the team was 1-2 or 0-3 right now. And this agent, I just have a real hard time believing. And it's like you said, it's a he said kind of deal. No one's going to really know because there was no contract. There's nothing in writing. But I have a real hard time believing that they made a $100,000 commitment to a guy from Holy Cross to come across the country and play quarterback. And now remember, he wasn't named the starting quarterback until the final 3 days of camp, because that's how tight it was. You got this backup, Hajj Malik Williams, who is basically a better passer, but you got these two guys that were battling in camp all season long. They named a starter right at the end. So they got two talented guys working 1-2 there. And I just have a hard time believing that he was actually offered that money. Now there could have been some talk around a dinner table. I think we can get you at 100,000. I think we can get you some money or whatever. I have a real hard time believing. What's crazy though, JT, in my mind, what's going to really open the can of worms here with all this, what prevents a player from on game day, an important player on game day 2 hours before, go up to the coach and say, you know what, if you don't give me that money, I'm not going to play today. That's it. To me, this is great. They got to get this NIL thing worked out, the NCAA. I know they're working on it really hard, and they were supposed to have something done this week. It's probably going to be pushed back another month or so, but they got to get that worked out because it is it's the wild, wild west. And you can't have that with NIL. You just can't.
Chris, I agree with that, but my only pushback would be, and you're right, you can't do this on game day. Whenever there's a quarterback, it could be UNLV, it could be Toledo, it could be Alabama, before the season starts, before training camp starts, where a guy could get hurt, right? Like NFL players, you can get hurt and be gone for the year. That you come to terms on what the player is going to make, and then it's guaranteed, no matter if the player gets injured or not. It's not stipulated on performance. If you play better, we're not going to give you more money. I think eventually it has to get to a point where it's negotiated on, it's a number. But with Allegiant Stadium in this town, the history of this program pretty much never being in the top 25. Don't you think this town with all these casinos and multi-millionaires and billionaires should probably have about $100,000 in a budget for a D1 quarterback in years to come?
Well, they should. And what you got to do as they continue to get their NIL, what is it? It's called the Friends of You, NILV. Those guys, that collective got to get together. They got to work things. But what you have to do as an agent, as a parent, as a player, you got to get these things in writing. You got to have contracts. You can't have, a verbal agreement. He told me this. We shook hands on this. No, you got to get it down in writing on a contract. They had no contract. But you're right. This guy could have been, let's say Sluka stays and he becomes his hero. They get to the, they're 12-1 on the season. They get into the, which would still be difficult to do, but say they get into the playoff, the 12-team playoff. This guy would have been the toast of the town. He could have done anything he wanted. Let me also go back to the agent and the Sluka deal. You don't have to go through an NIL. This agent could have Cliff Finley or over to any of these car dealerships, Raising Cane's, whatever, and said, hey, I got this hot quarterback in town right now. Everybody's talking about him. Let's get him let's have him sign some autographs prior to the Raiders game on Sunday over at the parking lot. Let's have him sign some autographs after the game on a Saturday night over at a card shop. You could have made a lot of money for this guy. You don't have to go through the NIL deal. If you have a decent agent that can go out and work some stuff for you, this guy would have been phenomenally popular in this town. And when you're talking 100,000, he probably could have made more than that.
Yeah.
You just never know.
What's going on this weekend? We were texting, it's a big weekend. What's more that's happening, especially with the Golden Knights and hockey getting underway?
Hey, I'm going to the Golden Knights game tonight. JT is a fan.
Nice.
This new Utah Hockey Club. So you having to go and enjoy the hockey team. They're getting back going here with the preseason. Some new faces. We'll see what they do. You got the Aces on the road in the semifinals, taking on the New York Liberty, a team, by the way, they haven't beaten in the regular season this year. They beat him for the championship last, but this year they're going to try to take a game in New York there and come back home, maybe knock them off and then go on to the championship. So you got that. You got UNLV football tomorrow against Fresno State. It's interesting. We had a couple of the Fresno State coaches talking about this whole UNLV UNLV situation, saying, man, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You'll see a lot more of this stuff happening. And then they talked about the backup quarterback, Williams. So that's going to be a fun game tomorrow. I really hope the fans come out and cheer on this team, because they are a lot of fun to watch with that go-go offense and what they've done and unbeaten. And now you got one of the best. This will be the best offense that UNLV will have faced so far. I know they're only 3 games in, but Fresno State is really, really good. So that's going to be good. Then I can't wait to see what the Raiders do now against the Browns, coming off that very disappointing, humbling, and embarrassing loss. What are they going to do for an encore this week, Sunday against the Browns? So I'm excited about this weekend, JT. I know we also had Mrs. Bolitnikoff, Angela Bolitnikoff, talk about the big Crab Fest. We had her on our shows this week, and so that's going to be – I know you'll be over there, but there's so much fun going on. It's every single week in Las Vegas, JT.
Thank you, Chris. I'll see you at the game on Sunday. Always appreciate you.
You betcha. Thank you.
There he is, the dean of the newsman, the dean, the authority on news and sports in town. That's why we have him here, and an insider. He's at press conferences. He's there. Chris Matthews, 8 News Now. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I mean, national news. Big week in Vegas this week. It is. Devontae Adams isn't playing. Max Crosby isn't playing. And UNLV's quarterback quit. Let me repeat. He quit. It could have been over money. You're right. He quit. That's it. You don't have to be, an expert on NIL. You don't have to go, because no one's really an expert on NIL yet. But the kid quit. The kid had an opportunity to play for his team and figure it out. Okay, he's not getting what he thought. Maybe he was promised or not. I don't know. But he quit. And that's not good for sports. You don't want to quit on your team, the guys you lift weights with. And I can tie it into the Raiders here. The Raiders are at a point now. I just saw some video at practice of Tyree Wilson leading the warm-up. I like that. I like Tyree. How do you think Tyree Wilson feels walking around that building going, I was taking number 7 in the first round, and fans are questioning me, and probably some of the people in the building are? I'm going to show up and have a big game. Tell you another player I like a lot, and I got to know him a little bit when we had him on from Costa Mesa, Isaiah Palomal, the safety, right? He's a good, fit, strong guy who's been waiting for an opportunity to play. I thought the Raiders were going to lose Isaiah Palomal the last year or two to another team that wanted to have him to start. So I'm interested to see how he plays. Robert Spillane also is going to have to keep this team together. And that's a good topic. I got about an hour and 15 minutes left, and I want to hear from you. Who do you believe, Raider Nation, has to have, ready for this, a signature game for the Raiders to win? I'll tell you when I come back, but I want to hear from you. 702-365-9200. Who's the player that has to have a game to remember? Because that's the only way we're going to win this game. Us season ticket holders, we got to have somebody step up and have a career game. Somebody's got to have a career game. Who is it? Who is it? We're brought to you by Boyd Gaming and all their great properties in Vegas. Locals love the Raider Nation and Boyd Gaming. Yeah, this ain't driving a trapeze, guys. She's got it. She's got it.
Driving the trapeze. Any other show's not driving the trapeze. This show.
Bowers, Wilkins, Brock. All right. Let's get some calls. I'm going to get, oh, man. I did not expect to do this show on Friday. I wanted to play a little Rich Gannon, maybe, a little quad, put my feet up Friday, for like 20 minutes. Then it's like the bat signal went off. The bat signal went off. Ooh, AP isn't going anywhere. Aiden O'Connell. How about Christian Wilkins?
Charles Woodson built this legend on the gridiron, and now he's taking the same dedication to his new craft spirit line, Woodson Bourbon Whiskey.
What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Charles Woodson, here to tell you all about my new Woodson Bourbon Whiskey. Woodson Bourbon Whiskey is both bold and smooth, and is the perfect addition to your next tailgate party. Go to WoodsonWhiskey.com to find a store near you. When it's game time, you know what to grab. Woodson Bourbon Whiskey, the official whiskey of the JT the Brick Show.
You have the power of choice at Friendly Ford. Gas, electric, or hybrid. New Broncos up to $10,000 off MSRP.
You in the fucking head, do-da.
I
Heard of a heart attack.
That's not
And watch those videos. Tell them. Hey man, we're gonna get to about 3 minutes. Hang on.
Hi, this is Peyton Manning. I know a thing or two about auto, specifically when it comes to making a change during the game. Call your own audible with early cash out on the Caesar Sportsbook Nevada app. With early cash out,
I would
now you
imagine
have the
we're
option to
gonna end up
audible
with
your
coach
previously
again.
placed wagers with just a click.
Audible? Is this just an excuse for you to say Omaha in an ad?
Exactly, Eli.
Alright.
Omaha.
Calvin.
SB21. Gambling problem?
Calvin.
The caller.
For over 85 years, Labor's Local 872 in Las Vegas have teamed up to change the world of entertainment, sports, and economic development. Labor's Local 872 is a proud member of Team Vegas from 1937
Guys,
to today.
baby bringing him dinner tonight. Damn.
Las Vegas. Our members
Who cares? It's food.
Right, yeah.
It's free, and I didn't have to make it. You bet your ass. I don't care what it is. Tucker covers dog shit. I'm like, thank you, baby. I love you so much.
It's college basketball's opening night as the Hall of Fame
It's
series
kind of like
returns to Las Vegas
pasta
November 4th.
with burger and like chili spices.
NCAA action at this
That's
exciting
pretty yummy.
doubleheader.
I got usually this pasta, tomato sauce, on the ground, meat sauce. So,
Texas and
I
Ohio
brought me
State.
stuff with chili spices.
Now
Oh,
at
brought me
AXS.com. Be there to tip off the
Orange
NCAA
drink.
season at the Hall of Fame
It's like a
series
mall.
November 4th.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, vitamin C.
Get your tickets today at AXS.com.
CCCU has a bonus
There's
for
the one
you.
major
High
requirement
five.
that I
It's
absolutely
5%
require.
interest on a bonus
Like
checking
that.
account,
That's
only
all.
available in Clark County.
No Max Crosby and no Devontae Adams, man. That makes your ticket prices interesting. No, I like to pay to see the stars.
If somebody's making money off of your checking
You're gonna
account,
give it take about 5 minutes for this one.
open a bonus checking account
One
today
caller,
and
Calvin.
start earning your 5% only at CCCU.
So Bay Raiders predicting Minshew is going to be sacked 10 times. Is he a Raider fan, Bay Raider, or is he just a troll? Is Bay Raider trying to be funny?
All right, it's all yours.
Favorite classic ham, salami, and provolone subs are priced to delight.
You're a realist?
Subs are just $6. Medium subs are $8, and large subs are only $10. Yum.
Gary, I'm on the radio, but I know you're coming, right? Good. Yeah, I'll see you tonight. I have an event right before this event starts, but Julie will be there. I'll probably be there around 7:30. You got it, buddy. Look forward to it.
Welcome back to the JT Ulrich Show. Brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka. Visit Tito'sVodka.com.
There it is from Andre James. Gardner looks right. He pumps. Now he looks to the left. Takes the shot. Down the middle of the field. Open Tucker makes the grab at the 30. And he's brought down at the 25-yard line. They've been waiting for Trey Tucker to break loose. And boy, did he ever. That's a pickup of 56 yards.
Trey Tucker is going to have a big game. So that's our topic, the rest of the show. Who is going to step up with all the injuries to the Raiders and have a big game? And let's be realistic about it, because I talked about it early in the monologue with Devontae Adams being out and Max Crosby being out. So it's pretty easy to go down the road and say, well, Devontae's out, Jacoby Myers is going to have a big game. All right. Max is out. Well, we're going to see Christian Wilkins have a big game. I get it. There's got to be a couple other guys that play big in a big spot here. And I think it's going to be very important to see who can step up in this atmosphere. So if you got a player that you think is ready for prime time, this is prime time. Cleveland's going to have a lot of fans in town today. Man, there's a lot of players out on Cleveland. I mean, I retweeted that earlier today. Let me just get to that quickly on who's out from Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland is absolutely decimated by injuries. So I couldn't believe how many players is going to be out. But this is a massive number overall. Massive number. Here it is, Ari Mirov. The Browns have ruled out tight end David Njoku, left tackle Jedrick Willis, right tackle Jay Conklin, running back Pierre Strong for Sunday's game, in addition to placing all-pro guard Wyatt Teller on IR, gone for the year. So I just mentioned 3 offensive linemen, including their all-pro, not Pro Bowl, or all-pro out. So they're playing backups on the offensive line. So follow me here. Their offense, if the Raiders had as many offensive linemen out, okay, Thea Mumford is out. That's DJ Glaze. It's a big spot for him. Myles Garrett's going to kind of want to drift over and test that young man out. But Colt Miller, I want to throw that name out first here in the first hour. What about Colt Miller, a captain, in this game? A little bit more vocal, lot vocal, kind of in this game. One of the better Raider players over the last 6 or 7 years. He's got to have a big game. Who else is out there? Man, Raider fans are nervous. They're nervous. They're nervous today. I'm dealing with a couple of trolls here on my YouTube feed. There are Raider fans with Raider names thinking they're done. So we're trying to cut through that garbage and get some mojo going. Calvin, in Vegas, what's happening? Give me something good here. What do you got?
First of all, today, Sunday's game is going to be special to me from a personal standpoint. It's going to be the first game that I get to be with my father. So
good for you.
This will be our first game that we get to see together. So this, from that personal standpoint, that's going to be incredible. But I'm really believing that our run game is going to shine. I believe the rookie, the offensive 2 rookie offensive linemen, they're going to go in, they're going to shine. And sometimes in life, man, you get hit in your face. And sometimes you have to look yourself in the mirror. And we're going to look back on this game. Watch. We're going to look back on the Browns and fans. We're going to look back and we're going to see how this woke us up. Because right now we're in a situation where you don't have time to be scared. You don't got time to be looking at the next person. Raider fans, if you don't believe, just stay away from the stadium. I've been a Raider fan since '89, from L.A. to Oakland, now in Vegas. I live out here right now. I've been out for 3 years. Watch our running game. Watch how these rookies come in. Watch how we bully from the trenches. So I know you said one player. I'm going to say the whole offensive line. Watch how it glues. Watch how Zimmer, watch how he start running. Because right now, everybody's looking at each other in this locker room right now. Everybody's like, okay, it's our time to shine. We don't got Devontae. We don't got Crosby right now. But we have each other. And sometimes in life, like I said, you get hit. So I believe, me personally, I believe our running game is going to start off. And watch, we're going to look at this game, and we're going to all be looking like, wow, man, we can't believe that this one particular game changed our whole dynamics of our season. And all the fake Raider fans, you want to jump back on the wagon when it's on. Stay off the wagon, bro. Stay off the wagon. Because right now, when we go Sunday and I'm having my beverages with my father and we sit in and roll 200, watch. It's going to be incredible, electric. That's all I got to say.
Great call.
Let's go, Raiders!
Love that call. Love that call. Why? Because it was authentic and real. Authentic and real. And the guy's got tickets and he doesn't want to go to a loss. You know, he said a lot of things I'm technically, air quotes, just not allowed to say. Like, fans, why don't you get lost and quit? Fans, you whining, bleeping quitters, get lost. I'm not allowed to say that because I make my money on advertising, ratings, and revenue and a big stream. So I technically, air quote, can't say that. I want everybody to come to the game and have a good time and have more people listen to the station. So, wink, wink. I can't technically say that. I got to be buttoned up around here, man. Got to be buttoned up. Want all the fans to get along. But, negativity breeds more negativity. But it's a small portion of the fan base, normally off of social media, who don't go to the games, haven't been to games, don't walk up to players, don't look people in the eyes, who are really negative when stuff like this happens. You can make it a positive. You can hope that other players step up and win. And like the caller just said, Calvin, it's a kind of a gravitating moment that changes the season. We can hope for that. Now the players have to go out and perform. Hour number 2 coming up next on the flagship of the Raiders. All right, everybody. I'm going to do a monologue here for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to bail out and go from there. And we'll do one more. Let me get in the chat here for a little bit. Thank everybody for being in there. Did we get to our 5,000 subscribers? I know we were looking for that.
Again. On August 27th, Mark hit 4 threes, clearing his Gambler's Bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for over $11,000. Mark
Big D, you like the special teams. I like
Gambler's
that.
Bonus. It's why you play the game.
Order like a champ with Raising Cane's mobile app and online at raisingcanes.com, and you'll be able to feed the whole team this football season with cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and the reigning MVP, the signature cane sauce. So grab your crew and make your next game day meal a touchdown. Game days are better together. Game days are better with Cane's. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, official chicken fingers of the UNLV Rebels. Go Rebels!
Nobody has you covered like Dollar Loan Center with signature loans up to $5,000 in minutes. We have over 50 locations. And if you're a new customer, your first loan is on us. We're offering new customers the chance to experience the DLC like never before for free. You heard it right. No fees at all and free interest for a week. Borrow up to $5,000 and keep it for a week. Then all you owe us back is the principal. Stop by one of our over 50 gorgeous locations in Nevada and Utah, and our awesome Dollar Loan Center staff will tell you all about it. Apply at don'tbebroke.com. Give us a call or find a Dollar Loan Center near you. And remember, at DLC, your first loan is on us.
Licensed by Nevada Financial Institutions Division. Investment must be full qualifications. Review all qualifications. Business. Don'tBeBroke.com. Certain limitations may apply. Loans are subject to approval.
PT's Taverns is your go-to spot for all the Vegas football this September.
What else we got here?
Kick off the season with unbeatable food and drink specials from just $5.
Like we're looking
Plus,
to
ask
get
your
rid of
bar
some
host how you
trolls
can score a
today.
custom PT's Taverns football jersey
trolls
just by
going.
playing with your True Rewards card. With over
Imagine
70
being a
taverns,
troll.
there is always a
Imagine
location
those who
near
like
you.
being a
To find your
troll.
neighborhood tavern and kick off football season with PT's, visit ptstaverns.com. That's ptstaverns.com today.
Sign a guy from Mandalay Bay. I like that.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything.
Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on.
From our father to our family to the expert legal team at the Castroverde, we founded this firm for you. We're the Castroverde Brothers.
And we have your back.
BrothersWin.com. The Raiders appreciate their alum more than any other franchise in the National Football League. Make sure you tune in to the Morning Tailgate every Wednesday at 8 a.m. for Once a Raider, Always a Raider, and hear from one of many proud Raider alum. Powered by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month.
Yeah, I think
for life.
Minshew's got to have a great game, man. He's got to really have one of those games where he just takes over and throws for 280, 290.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
Two
$25
touchdowns,
a month, forever.
something
Get
like
unlimited
that.
talk, text, and data for just $25 a month
We'll
with
see.
Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Your radio home for Westwood One's coverage of Monday Night Football, right here on Raider Nation Radio 920 AM KRLV Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
It's time for JT the Brick.
The main reason why I have the back of the Raider Nation, the main reason why I do this for a living, because of the global disrespect this franchise gets from people who are wrong more than they're right on the radio. The lazy national narrative is the Raiders don't have a quarterback. I mean, really? Yeah, well, the Raiders are one of the worst teams in football. I said, worst teams? They won 8 games.
JT the Brick.
That's why I love you in the Raider Nation. You don't like anything. You're hardcore Raider Nation. You don't like anything until it's proven to you. There are Raider fans in Vegas. There are Raider fans globally. There are season ticket holders. Okay? There's a whole bunch of different Raider fans, but we're all one nation. One nation, the Raider Nation. And we're all on the same page. We want to win. That is another unbelievable article on anti-Raider propaganda. The roster's better than last year.
And now,
Big Boy Radio.
here's JT the Brick.
Welcome back. It's the final hour and monologue of the week. I'm still live on YouTube. We'd like you to subscribe for free, JT the Brick YT. And we are all over on the Raiders mobile app and the LV Sports app. We have it all covered for you here. So if you miss any portion of the show, you can always get it, and we like that, especially the video portion of the show. So I woke up today to find out that Devontae and Max weren't playing, waited for Antonio Pierce to make the comment at the press conference. It kind of shook a lot of people up. The Raiders have many players out. Malcolm Kuntz gone for the year. Marcus Epps gone. Max Crosby, high ankle sprain, out, ruled out. Devontae Adams, hamstring, out. Michael Mayer, for personal issues, he's out this week. So if you look around, Divine Diablo, who just cannot stay healthy, but he's injured. Not doing it on purpose. He's injured. He's not able to go. So with all the injuries, Cleveland's got a bunch too. Looks like a mash unit. A lot of backups playing for both teams. So if Cleveland was at full strength and the Raiders had this many injuries, I don't think the Raiders would have a good chance in this game. But the fact that Cleveland's got as many, if not more, than the Raiders, I think makes it a pretty even game. I've mentioned, and we're mentioned in this hour, we want to know who you think has to have a great game for the Raiders to win. Who has to have a great game? I said in the first hour it was Gardner Minshew. Minshew's got to have a game for the ages in his career. He's had them in Indy. He's had them in Jacksonville, where he's thrown for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's done that. Okay, he has Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker. And some of the backups that are going to come in here are pretty good. He's going to get him the ball. The ball's got to come out quick. And I also think he has to run. Really think he's got to run for over 50 yards or so. He truly does have to run. Design runs where he is moving outside the pocket. There's nothing open. And he doesn't look to just get 2 yards and get out of bounds. I mean, he looks to pick up 12 yards. He's running. He's running, maybe making someone make a miss. Everybody knows that Aiden O'Connell's going to play if Minshew doesn't play good in this game. Everybody knows that. If Gardner Minshew plays poorly in this game and the Raiders don't win, Aiden O'Connell will be the quarterback, I think. So maybe Gardner Minshew is going to play his ass off. I also think Nate Hobbs and Jack Jones have got to step up in a big way. They have to. Jack Jones and Nate Hobbs seem to be healthy. Jack was a ball hawk last year. Nate's a guy that can make things happen. Go have a game. I really like the play of Isaiah Palamal. Think he's a good player. And in this situation could have a big game. But, man, they got some good receivers in Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy was a big underachiever in Denver. And he's a cocky guy. And I think Sean Payton looked at Russell Wilson and said, get him out of here. Jerry Jeudy, I don't like him. Get him out of here. Jerry Judy's going to have a lot to prove against the Raiders. He's played against the Raiders a bunch. So with all this happening, and what about Zamir White? How come I don't have 9 callers on hold saying Zamir White has to have a good game? Like, what are we doing here? Does anybody think the Raiders can win other than me? I mean, they got to win the game. I don't care who's playing. I really don't at this point. I'm bummed out, but I got to be at the Torch and do the pregame show, and we're going to treat it like they're going to win. Game's sold out. There's going to be a lot of Cleveland fans there. You know it. Raider fans wear black, get there early, tailgate, get going. If the Raiders win this game, next man up and get to 2-2, it's going to feel like a party. 2-2 this year is different. 2-2 this year is different. And if they can do it, they're 60 minutes away of being 2-2, considered early in the season a playoff team in the standings at least, as a wild card team and with something to build on. I mean, I went into this week thinking the Chargers would lose their game, thinking Denver's going to lose their game, the Raiders are going to win their game. I'm not worried about Kansas City much anymore. Kansas City's going to win the division. Newsflash. Kansas City's 3-0. Look at the injuries around the league. Kansas City's probably going to win the West. But the wild card's in play. And if you get to 2-2, you're a wild card team, and I think the Raiders are going to need that time to get healthy. Remember, they don't play Denver till a week from Sunday. It's Friday. So Max is not going to play football now for 9-10 days. Either is Devontae. I would hope that Devontae's hamstring and Max's high ankle sprain in 8 to 9 days can get him back on the field in Denver. Don't know. Don't know for sure. So that's what we're doing here. It's the final hour of the week. Let's end it strong. Let's have a good lead into Q Myers, who's got a big show at the top of the hour. I got Jess on the board here. I'm ready to roll. Got a big night tonight. I'm double dipping tonight, helping out in any way I can. MC for ALS Food is Art. if you like food, high-end food and chefs and all that, they're raising money for ALS at the pool at the Strat. So I'll be there from 7 to 7:30, kicking it off, introducing everybody, the band, rah, rah, rah. And then I am jumping in a car that's waiting for me to get to the Bolitnikovs over at the Westgate, where it's the Bolitnikov crab feed, where people are going to be eating crab and drinking and listening to Reckless in Vegas, a great band led by Michael Shapiro, good friend of mine. And a lot of guys, a lot of my friends at the Raiders, bosses, friends, all get together at this event. And we let loose afterwards. We meet in the lobby. We have some beverages, wives. It's one of those things that we do once a year. We do it more than once a year, but it's kind of nice to do this because we're raising money in the memory of Tracy Bolitnikov. So that's going to be cool. That's 2 nights tonight. 2 nights. And no, I don't have a limo. That's one of the advertisers we need, Jess, here is I need a limo service. Because my dad's my accountant, and every year he goes, wait a second, what's with this accent? My mom, what's with these Ubers? What's with all these Ubers on your taxes? I'm like, what do you mean? It's part of doing business. It's part of being in the JT the Brick business. You got to have an Uber here and there. But yeah, I like a ride from time to time. The Eagles are in town. The Eagles are at Sphere, and a whole bunch of good things. Wu-Tang Clan are going to be there. The Wu-Tang, yeah, right? You say that again? Wu-Tang Clan is going to be over at Virgin. That's going to be fun with the great John O'Donnell at One Steak. Get a couple of beverages before you go into that. So we're going to have a good weekend here. We're not going to, Jess, I said, I don't want Raider fans to cuddle up in a ball and be really sad. And I'm not going out tonight. The Raiders might lose because Max is hurt. We don't do that, Joe. We try to find a way to win. Win at all costs. Joe's in Vegas. Joe, what's going on? Thanks for waiting.
Hey, JT, I'm a season ticket holder. 2 guys don't make a team.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, if on defense, Luke Mackerson, he needs to step up, and I think he can have a good game. And I think that the other backup tight end, I think he wears 84.
Yep.
He's pretty good. If he steps up, the offensive line and the whole team steps up, we should win this game. This is a team sport. We've missed 2 of our stars. We should still be able to do next man up and cowboy up and get a win here. We can beat these guys. And if you're not a true Raider fan, if you're just going to cash it in because we had a bad game last week, okay? It's like everybody just needs to step up and play the game and show up for the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a great.
Showing up.
Yeah, I really appreciate your call, man. We're trying to get a few more of those here before Q comes up here. A couple of more fans that think, Harrison Bryant's a good player. He really is. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic, he can play. So the depth of this team is in question now. For Devontae Adams, DJ Turner will step in. You have Jacoby Myers, who's going to start, Trey Tucker, Brock Bowers, because Michael Mayer has been ruled out. I'm expecting a big game out of Colt Miller, Jackson's Powers Johnson, Andre James, Dylan Parham, and DJ Glaze, and for Thayer Mumford, who's out. Thayer's got a lot of bad luck, man. I golfed with Thayer. I hung out with him a little bit in the offseason. He really wants to be great at right tackle, and he's just getting nicked up here. It's a shame, but Glaze had a lot of reps in Costa Mesa, and he should be ready to go. Max is out. So Tyree Wilson and Charles Snowden will step in. John Jenkins will be ready to go with Christian Wilkins. Janorius Robinson in for Malcolm Kuntz. Diablo's out. So when you look at Tommy, what about Tommy Eichenberg? Amari Burney? Amari Gaynor? Let's get someone going here. Robert Spillane, Luke Masterson. Then we'll see Jack Jones, Isaiah Palomal, Trayvon Merrick, Jacorian Bennett, and Nate Hobbs. The team will wrap up with Daniel Carlson as the kicker and A.J. Cole as the punter, needing to have great games. Remember my rule with Carlson, he needs 12 points if we're going to win. 3 field goals is 9 points. And then we need 3 touchdowns that have extra points. That get us to 12. So I need Carlson to get through this game with 12 points. And I need A.J. Cole, who's one of my favorite players, really is. A.J. is one of my favorites. I need A.J. Cole to be more aggressive with pinning teams back inside the 5. A.J.'s a great punter. He's going to punt the ball high. He's going to punt it inside the 20. We know that. He's A.J. Cole. We need a better game out of A.J. We need punts that are going out of bounds, bouncing on the 4-yard line, and bouncing out of bounds. We need that. Has to happen in this game. Everybody's got to be a little bit better. Everybody's got to be a little bit better overall. And I think that'll happen. One thing I wanted to mention from the game last night, I went to La Casa Cigars, had a cigar with the owner, Mike, my buddy Wags, Tom Wagner, great, really cool guy in town here, insurance company owner and friend, former sergeant at Metro. And we watched the Giant Cowboy game. And the Giants couldn't score. They were just kicking field goals in the game. And I sat there and I said, what a conservative, gutless game plan. Daniel Jones, 29 of 40 for 281. The guy didn't throw a touchdown at home in a must-win game. The Giants ran it for a total of 26 yards in the game. They couldn't get anything going, and they were so conservative that they threw before the first down marker, something that I tweeted Jim Plunkett never did in his career. If Jim Plunkett had 3rd and 12, he threw it 13 yards. Almost every time unless he dumped it off to Marcus Allen. And Marcus could get to the 13 yards. You know that. But, man, I'm watching the Cowboys last night. They were so beatable. They were so beatable. And the Giants played so conservative. I would really struggle with that with the Raiders. I would really struggle if they came out with a conservative game plan with all these injuries and didn't attack. I would be bothered if the Raiders didn't take this game and empty everything out and try to make some heroic plays and do some great things. This cannot be a conservative game plan, hoping to keep it close late so you can beat Cleveland. Gardner Minshew's got to step up and play big. I'm not calling for his job at all, but I don't see how he keeps his job much longer if he doesn't have a great game. I'm not talking about managing the game. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I don't need Gardner Minshew to manage a game. I need Gardner Minshew to win a game, not manage a game. Don't need him to keep it close. What the hell we bring him here for? Gardner Minshew's got to have a moment. It's now. This is it. He's the quarterback. Pressure's on, man. Pressure's on. Okay, there's no Devontae and no Max. It's Gardner Minshew's team. Go win the game. Go have a great game. I know he can. I've seen him have excellent games in this league. And Deshaun Watson's a dangerous player. Fortunately, he's been a head case for quite some time. So I don't know what's going to happen here with him. Got to hope that he is slowed down. Got to hope that he doesn't run and tuck and run. It doesn't seem like he wants to. And hopefully the Raider defense can get after him. The Giants got him for 8 sacks last week, and the Giants are 1-3. Giants are 1-3. Cowboys have Micah Parsons, who's injured. They got a lot of injuries, and the Cowboys are 2-2. By Sunday at 4:30 in the afternoon, the Raiders could be 2-2 and have the same record as the Dallas Cowboys. All right? That's a reality here if they win the game. 702-365-9200. We'll get to my conversation with Rich Gannon coming up here on the other side. Rich joins us every week, and I want to play that every week because it's really good content. We'll play a portion of that coming up here, and then we'll take your phone calls the rest of the way as we get out of here. Weird news today. Didn't expect this news. It's kind of negative news. We got to try to find a way to make a positive out of it. The only thing that'll matter is a win. As Al Davis said, just win, baby. We'll prove it in this game. We're brought to you by the M Resort Spa and Casino. They just had Ice Cube. They got more concerts coming up. Also, the Raiders Tavern and Grill. Great place to go get lunch and dinner.
It's unnecessary roughness.
Respect.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Kind of an interesting day today.
Against the Ravens. That was the game that no one gave you credit
Not a
for.
babysitting service.
That was the whole theme.
Ball out, get a win. We'll see what happens. I'll see you back on Monday.
It's hard to win in the National Football League. You should celebrate them, but if you can't follow that